Welcome back to the French Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry's 6th Annual Business Forum. You're now tuning into our next panel discussion, Retail, the True Lifeblood of Vibrant Cities. Before we begin our discussion, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we all respectively gather today and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I also extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples participating in the event today. My name is Lindsay Carroll and I'm the Deputy CEO and Legal Director of the National Retail Association. We are one of Australia's largest and most representative industry organisations for the retail industry, with over 6,500 members across all sectors of the retail, fast food and broader services industries in Australia. We offer a number of support services for our members, ranging from training, workplace relations and legal advice, tenancy and leasing support. And we also do a whole lot of government advocacy and policy work on behalf of the industry at large. Now, we have a wonderful panel of speakers joining us for the discussion today. I'm very proud to introduce Pierre Geoffrey, Managing Director of L'Occitane en Provence, Emily Festas, Head of Communication at Simone Perel, and Jean Connery, Managing Director of Le Creuset in Australia and New Zealand. Thank you all for joining us. I'd also like to extend my thanks to the French Australian Chamber of Commerce, Schneider Electric, the French Embassy, Austrade and sponsors for making today and our discussion possible. I'm going to hand it over to each of our panelists now to spend a minute or two to tell our audience about themselves and the exceptional retail businesses that they work in. Pierre, I'll hand over to you and I'll ask you to go first. Welcome.
Thank you, Lindsay. Good morning, everybody. So actually, I'm Pierre. As you can see, I'm French with such a name. I arrived in this wonderful country in Australia 1.5 years ago, and I'm working for L'Occitane. It's a natural beauty retailer, fully omnichannel. We have 3,000 retail outlets around the world and a little bit less than 60 stores in Australia.
Thank you so much, Pierre. Over to you, Emily.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm Emily Festas. I'm Head of Communication for Simone Perel. I've been lucky to be in Australia for 7 years now, and also 7 years working with Simone Perel. Simone Perel is French lingerie brand, 70 years old now, 43 years in Australia, so we have a very strong market over here, with the second biggest market after France worldwide. And we were lucky enough to be the first one to open a flagship Simone Perel store in the world. Simone Perel is focusing on beautiful craftsmanship, supporting women, beautiful laces, and has been supporting the community of women through different aspects of charity and through different aspects of supporting them in their building their career for 43 years here and 70 years worldwide. And it's a real pleasure for us to be talking with you guys today.
That's such an excellent introduction. Thank you, Emily. And finally, Jean, over to you. Can you please introduce yourself and the Le Creuset business in Australia?
Thank you, Lindsay. Hi, everyone. So my name is Jean Conrier. I'm the Managing Director for Le Creuset, Australia, New Zealand. I've been in Australia for about 14 years. I've worked across several industries, mostly luxury and premium brands in France, across Asia and Australia, and with Le Creuset for the past 2 years. So we've got, the brand has been in the market for many years. We've got a business across retail, e-commerce and wholesale. We've got 9 stores in retail, 8 in Australia and 1 in New Zealand. And obviously, Le Creuset, a brand which is almost 100 years old now, founded in France, a very iconic French brand in the cookware industry. So I'm very happy to be here and be sharing some views on the retail industry for Australia with all my friends here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Before we get into our panel discussion and our questions, I'd like to remind the audience that we have a Q&A function available through the technology today. So if you're watching and you have questions for myself or any of our panelists, please be sure to use that Q&A function. At the end of the session today, we'll also have a live Q&A happening for 15 minutes or so. And I'll remind everyone watching that at the end of the session that will be kicking off. But let's get into the exciting stuff. So the first question that I have for our panel is COVID-19, the pandemic, it's at these events, it's a common sort of question, but how has the pandemic continued to affect your operations? How has your business been traveling through the pandemic, and is it continuing to affect your operations, and how so? John, I might hand over to you first to tell us a bit about that.
Sure. I mean, obviously, the environment has been absolutely unusual, and I think at the beginning of the year we didn't know what would happen really. Very cautious approach. I'd say that fortunately for Le Creuset, we've had like a very strong year in terms of sales, in terms of business, because obviously with people not traveling traveling overseas, or not going so much to restaurants and bars, or spending on other discretionary items. They probably spend a lot on whatever was related to home. Obviously, they rediscovered their kitchen. They had to cook more lunch, dinner for the family, which is absolutely fantastic, and we certainly benefit from that. We obviously have been affected in a sense because we had to close our retail stores for almost a month in sort of March, April. Obviously, we've had to close them in Melbourne for many more weeks, and we still close and hope to reopen next week, obviously, which is great news, which certainly has affected our operation. But we also saw a shift from retail sales probably going to our e-commerce. So that was already a priority for us. We launched a new website in July. So we had lots of push toward this channel, and we really felt we also captured some business there, so which was really good. So yeah, so all in all, it's it's been a good run for us, fortunately, but I certainly know it hasn't been the case for other retailers and other brands.
Was your website redevelopment in the works before COVID-19, or did COVID-19 prompt you to change and upgrade the website?
It was in the works before. Certainly, I think like many brands, we knew that e-commerce was developing and developing fast. I think pre-COVID, we already had, we started e-commerce in Australia about 3 years ago. Pre-COVID, we already had like a very strong increase year on year, but obviously COVID, as we all know, really accelerated or boosted everything, especially in April. I think April or Easter was even bigger than Black Friday this year across the industry online, which was amazing. So, but yeah, absolutely good timing for us to have this new website.
Yeah, wonderful. And Pierre, for customers going in store at L'Occitane, the physical experience of going into one of your stores is so important, and such a wonderful part of the process. How obviously pandemic closures would have significantly affected your business. How are you sort of coming out of that?
Well, I think our first approach was always the safety. So the safety of our team and the safety of the client. So since the beginning, and even before the beginning of the pandemic, we were lucky to see what was happening in China, and we were ready to adapt ourselves. And when the pandemic hit Australia, our first approach was take care of our team, take care of our client. And in this mindset really is we had to financially support our team even before, you know, any commitment of the government where they look, we are here, L'Occitane is here, and we will support you. You know, at L'Occitane, this brand has an intrinsic link with the living, so people's matter and nature matter, because obviously we're a natural beauty brand. But when you speak about people, it was really how do you keep the culture at L'Occitane living when you have to shut the stores, when you have to shut the office, shut down the store, shut down the office. So a lot of new way of working, getting connected to the people's freedom. So Q&As every week with the teams in stores, with the team in, well, working from home. But to get specifically to your point about the client, we had to change our approach. Obviously, we were one of the first brand worldwide to have a website, e-commerce, like, so I don't know, it was 87. We were actually the first beauty brand to have a website. So the culture of online is very strong at L'Occitane. So we were able, obviously, to take advantage of people buying online. But as you mentioned, when you enter L'Occitane store, it's like walking into Provence. So how do you keep this sense, obviously, through taking care of, you know, cleaning the store, respecting the how do you say, all the process to avoid any type of contamination. But we put in place a new process which is called mirroring. So usually it was our BA that was doing the application of the product. And what we ask the client is to follow our beauty advisor and do the application of their product themselves. So we don't have any more tester available. They are all hidden. We're able to offer it to the client, and then it could mirror the experience of the client. And we went a lot into the social selling, you know, putting online some video, working with our BA to become social influencer. So it really changed the way we were working. And there was a lot of things that were, you know, hidden on the drawer of ideas that you wanted to do. And I was so happy to see how the team became entrepreneur and everybody embraced some new opportunities. And I know I will have some more time to speak about all the activities we done in the social setting. So I will stop here. But it was at the same time challenging, but also very rich of new opportunities and new thing happening, because entrepreneurship is key at L'Occitane, and we try to push everybody to take risk and try.
That is an amazing response. And I loved that you started that piece with the focus on your team. That is so important. And I think, obviously, I work for the National Retail Association and the industry at large, but I am also an avid shopper and consumer. And that's also what I hope other consumers will miss, is that experience of walking into a store and being able to be helped by passionate team members. And the experience and the setup of your stores is beautiful. As you say, it's like walking into Provence, but also it's our retail workers and our team members that make it a wonderful experience as well. So it's great to hear that you are able to support your team, to have that platform online to be able to continue success. But ultimately, let's hope that people miss that experience of working directly with wonderful retail workers, and over the next couple of months, get back into store to enjoy that. Emily, how has the pandemic affected Simone Perel? And obviously you're a very different business again, in that well, lots of people come into store to be fitted, etc. How has the pandemic changed?
Look, obviously for us, we had to kind of rethink everything. Nothing was normal. You know, we are very heavily brick and mortar store, obviously with, you know, bra fitting, and we have our online website, which was doing great with customer that already go in store, get fitted, and then buy extras online. So we had to really rethink that, and obviously not being able to fit, having most of our store closed, we just put all our plan in the bin and be like, okay, now we need to be reactive, like we need to change. So what we've been doing is we start communicating more with our customers. So we went from 1 EDM a week to 3 EDMs a week to really give them that that information, the level of information that our team member, our loyal fitters in store will be given. We're given through EDM, how to fit your bra, what is a good fitting bra, what shape is for which person. And it really helped them, I think. We've also did, our training coordinator started to do virtual fittings. So question our customers, standard have been really trying hard to answer to everyone every day on all their fitting questions. I've been jumping on calls as well to do fittings with customer. I think that, you know, it's staying close and staying true with our customer and really giving them the opportunity to understand who we are, and to also, you know, we also benefited from, I think, people doing spring clean a little bit early on this year. So we've had a lot of questions, and we had to really focus all our voices through our online, and everything that was already in the pipeline that we needed to change, having more information on our website, more information through our EDM have really helped us to come through again. But believe me, we get phone calls every day to know when our store are reopening, because obviously we can give them a lot of information, but our customers are really waiting for getting fitted again and to have the expertise of our sales assistant in store and our fitters to be able to help them. So we have people already waiting to book and come into store to see us.
That's amazing. And did you have to, was there a degree of sort of customer education that had to happen, or an extra bit of work around making customers who were doing online fittings with your team to sort of make them feel comfortable and safe? When you walk into a lingerie store to be fitted, you know, a woman is likely to feel, you know, comfortable, and that's the sort of, you know, what to expect. Did customers have to adapt somewhat and be made to be given an extra level of comfort to be able to have that experience online?
Well, 100%. So,
Yeah.
we like, what, you know, when you are a lingerie fitter, you are someone that's been chosen because you are compassionate, because you have, you know, that soft approach, and, you know, there is no judging or anything. You know, I've been a fitter myself for 15 years, so I've seen 10,000 of women half naked in the fitting room. So we know how to approach them. We know how to talk to them through. And look, everything is made to make them feel safe. And even for our store that have reopened now, like we did some quarantining of product, for example, to help them feel extra safe. We've been training our team on the way to talk to the customer about fitting themselves instead of being there to adjust the strap or adjust the band. We've been showing on us what they needed to do for themselves. So we've been creating as we've always had, like, a safe environment. It wasn't face-to-face anymore, but in a way, you know, people were in the comfort of their home. So they kind of felt as well that, you know, I think people were asking more questions, seeing that maybe face-to-face you don't dare asking, or you don't dare like communicating about. They've been feeling a little bit more comfortable into, you know, telling us their own stories. And you know, a good fitting bra is a bra you should forget you're wearing? So obviously all those questions for women were really interesting for us also to see that there is some question we don't normally get and how to give that information before being asked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I guess at a moving on to sort of the levels of government support and whatnot that were available, do you think the retail industry received sufficient support at various government levels? And do you think that there could have been more done to help support retailers this year? And what do you think that those support mechanisms could have looked like? Jean, can I hand back to you to answer that question?
Sure. I mean, that's certainly a tough or complex question, I suppose. I mean, and probably a bit difficult to answer, but I think in terms of the government support, I mean, it was certainly great to have the JobKeeper scheme being implemented. I think it's been very helpful for many businesses, especially those heavily affected by the pandemic. I think in that respect, that was certainly that's a great initiative, and hopefully they can, continue to support employees with that. I think the support from the landlord, I think, has been overall very good, at least from our perspective. With the discussion we had with them, I think they really try to support again smaller businesses heavily affected, because certainly when you only have one store, for instance, and you just have to close your doors, basically you're not generating anything at all. So you are affected, your business is affected, your employees are affected. So I think in that respect, I felt that was not our case, because we have different channels. Like I said, we have an omnichannel business and we've got several stores, but I think overall they've been trying to do the right thing. They've been supportive with rent relief. I think the code of conduct established by the government really helped as well, just to give direction. Probably there could have been sometime a bit more direction given to the landlords. I mean, it was sometimes maybe a bit too open, but I think overall it was, at least from our perspective, well managed. Yeah.
I think the overwhelming sort of message that we get from our retail members and also sometimes landlords is that the pandemic has really opened up the communication channels between landlords and tenants, and that's ultimately been a really positive thing. And then some retailers will tell us that the playing field has never been more level, and it's really been the success of having those honest conversations with landlords has been an important support sort of mechanism to some retailers through the last couple of months.
Absolutely.
Emily,
Yeah.
has that been your experience?
Well, I think that, it was really, I think first of all, the fact that, there is different direction in all the different states also makes things very complicated for us to travel through. And our head office is in Melbourne. So we felt a little bit more difficulties with that. But I think that, in this pandemic, I think everyone has been trying their best to do their best, if that makes sense. And I think, we feel that we've been supported. I think the misinformation sometimes was a little bit what's really very difficult, but I think we still got quite a lot of support, and from our customer as well. So I think we've been lucky, and also we see a lot more, in between brand interaction. We discuss a little bit more, and I think we we're creating a better future for retail as well.
Yeah, that's an exceptional point. Pierre, what do you think about the levels of support that has been made available to retailers over the last couple of months? And do you think more could have been done?
Well, it's as mentioned by Jean, it's a very difficult question to answer. I think all of us, you know, all the players, the government, the landlord, the retailer, we have responsibility, and we need to step up in those moments. Some step up, some should have stepped up more, maybe. As a company, we have to do our part. And obviously, we start first for the team, then it is our community, and ultimately, it is Australia that we want to support. And, you know, also keeping the distance, doing the right thing. It's about supporting the economy, supporting the country. And I was very impressed how Australian, you know, really embrace, in general, the people really embrace the rules and say, yes, we are in it together. And specifically to speak about the landlords, you know, like you have good friends and people that are less good friends. I guess I was very positively surprised that with some of them, you know, we had, yes, we in it together. And our approach at L'Occitane, we were very, you know, we are suffering, you are suffering. Let's find somewhere where we less suffer together. Some other did not act like this, and we are still negotiating with them. So it's a challenge. And I think in those moments is, guys, I mean, let's just forget about just the business of the number, but let's look a little bit ahead. So if people have this mindset, yes, we can work together. And I was very happy to see that most part of the landlord had this mindset.
That's great. We regularly talk about the retail ecosystem at the National Retail Association, and we're all part of it. And I guess in that same theme, how do you think government and retail should work together to reactivate retail precincts and bring shoppers back once the pandemic restrictions are well and truly behind us? The restrictions obviously took a toll on consumer confidence. How do we bring them back into our retail precincts? Emily, I'll hand over to you first.
I think there is two sides into that. I think like on a government level, I think information will be key, you know, for me, communication and giving us, even if it's not always what we want to hear, but giving us a little bit more of a clear path on what it is, like that we can adapt and we can make the right change for our customer, for our team members on the floor as well, and for the retail space. But then also how to bring confidence back to the customer is, I think that, you know, it's seamless rules. Is, you know, if we have, you know, safety measure in place, that they're clear on what they need to be to make sure everyone is safe, and that, you know, you get the same level of safety everywhere, which will be obviously guaranteeing that everyone is keeping safe and that we don't spread continue to spread the virus. But also, I think for me, like for customers to come back into store now that they've been used to shop, you know, online for the comfort of their house, it's going to be all about customer service, training, and instead of being sales assistant into store, we need to be expert into product, and for people to come with wanting to have that social interaction, but also for them to be coming into your store rather than shop online or wait for sales, you need to add extra experience, extra comfort and safety. And I think now all of that will be at the same level for the future. Safety, experience, and expertise, really.
Great answer. Pierre, we've already talked about the wonderful experience that consumers have in a L'Occitane store. How do we reactivate our retail precincts more generally and make sure that people feel welcome and safe to come back?
Well, I think there is two questions in your question. Actually, there's really the question of the confidence. How do you bring back the confidence for the people to spend their money? And there is the question of going back to store. And I think bringing back the confidence, I don't know enough the Australian to give my opinion. I think Australians are very cautious when there is a challenging situation. They are tends to spend less, I guess. But I think it is definitely now, it is a great opportunity to change, not only here in Australia, but around the world on the way we think our growth. Growth needs to be there, but it needs to be more sustainable. It needs to be more socially sustainable and environmentally sustainable. So I wish we would take this as an opportunity to rethink the way we do business, to have a sustainable business for the future, not for 2 or 3 years, but the next 10 to 20 years to come. So I think this is the confidence that ultimately the government, the companies, and the financial world, who is the, you know, the fuel of the engine. If we are, if the business is the engine, the finance is the fuel of the engine, that we all need to sit on the table and really have a different approach on growth. Now, if you look at, you know, more basically to our store, I think there is different challenge. You know, we have the suburban stores that we had question mark maybe 1 year ago. It's like what's happening in this store? And now they are booming because people want to shop closer to their home and maybe they go less to the CBDs. And you CBD stores that was booming because, you know, so many traffic, people coming out of the subway to go into those big, I mean, you said train in Australia, sorry, going out of the train to go in those big tower. Now they're not coming here. So how do you reactivate those stores, and do you want to keep the score? And I guess that was the key question of this speech, is the true lifeblood of the vibrant city. So yes, today the CBD is suffering. So I think our approach is, and as mentioned by Emily, people will go more online, but because it's easy, you can shop whatever the time. But what you have to make the difference is at the customer experience in store. And Emily already touched about this. On our side, what do? You know, the best selling range is the face care at L'Occitane. So now we have, you know, chair, we can do a facial experience, we do classes like VIP events with special, people can book their, how do you say, their meeting to see our team and have a special one-to-one conversation. So it's really about bringing more customer experience and truly thinking omnichannel. So people, for example, and it's about what you say, clienteling, and what we call the concierge service. So you can call your stores, you have your own beauty attendant that take care of yourself, maybe because, you know, you're Chinese and you want to speak Chinese, so you want to speak with this beauty attendant, but actually your store, now you moved away or you live in the CBD and there is another store, L'Occitane, which is Claude. So then you want to make the order on the phone and you want to pick it up at the closest store. So this is the pick up in store, but order on the phone. So this is the, you know, the all omni-channel experience. And you mentioned it at the beginning, let's say it's the customer experience. So we have to be customer centric. And, you know, every time I say to my team, would you be happy when you're on the phone and somebody say to you, yeah, you know, no, you cannot pick up in this store. You have to go at this store, which is at the other end of the city. She said, no, to my team, this is not acceptable. For me, I don't accept it. So we have to make it work for the client. So really think differently the growth. This is the challenge of us for the next 10 to 20 years. And then think about the customer centricity. What do I want as a customer in a retail experience or in the facility of shopping?
You touched on a really important point that I was going to segue to Jean on, and that is CBDs. And how can, Jean, what do you think governments and local councils, state governments, et cetera, can do to re-enliven our CBD precincts and get more people back into the CBD? In Brisbane, for example, I know there's lots of discussion happening and lots of sort of proposals being considered around free public transport into the city, cheap car parking and that sort of thing to attract and bring people back to our CBD spaces.
I mean, I think it's I mean, obviously, Emilie and Pierre touch base on a lot of things, but I think for me, it's all about, first of all, communication. And I think communicating on making the environment safe and communicating on that to our consumers, making sure that they understand that everything is implemented locally in the CBDs, for instance, but also in the shopping centers or other retail precincts to make sure the environment is safe. People are confident they can go and shop there without any risk. I think that's the first thing. Then I think it's all really about the positive attitude. And I remember when I was in Australia in 2008 for the GFC, I was so amazed by the positive attitude from on the news, from the government, basically every day communicating messages about, that's fine, we're gonna be fine, we're gonna succeed. And I think it's probably something that the government should also do more. And because all of this is influencing shopping, influencing consumers' mindset. So really, I think communication is key. There's certainly lots of measures, like you said, free parking, free transports, etc., that could be implemented to support. There could be because there could be incentive for businesses to support them with their rents as well, bringing some businesses maybe back to the CBD so that they bring back their employees as well. So again, of supporting them with their rents or supporting them with initiative to bring back the employees back to work. Yeah, for me, that's really the key. And certainly at a retail level, I think it's from our side, what we can do is, like Emilie and Pierre said, is to continue to also be positive, reassure our consumers, and be very much inspiring and creative so that people really want to go back to the stores and have the best experience possible.
And we were talking offline about sale periods and how the Australian consumer responds to various sales that happen across retail. We've obviously got some big online sale events coming up very, very soon, and that really introduces the Christmas shopping season in Australia as well. Do you think, and often what has traditionally been online events like Click Frenzy or Black Friday have made their way into the physical shop front as well. Do you think there's a good opportunity for your business and retail generally to capitalize on those sorts of events?
Absolutely. I mean, it's certainly Black Friday, for instance, or Cyber Weekend now, just like you said, was an online activation, which is also now in the stores because I think most of us have a true omnichannel strategy. So certainly that will contribute heavily to bringing back people or consumers to the stores. And then again, Christmas activation. I mean, typically we put a huge focus on the Christmas season, having again beautiful displays, having some offers as well for consumers, because we're mindful that it's sort of part of the shopping experience as well. But really creating value and for them, and again bringing them back to the stores and to the retail. I mean, for me, I always think about you imagine again these beautiful windows that you can see in Paris when you have at the Galeries Lafayette or the Printemps or the department store that people just go and see with their kids, etc. We've got a bit of that, I think, with retailers like Davy Jones, for instance, or putting lots of efforts there as well. But I think it's really something that will also help bring back people to the CBDs and really support the retail leading to Christmas.
Definitely. Thank you for those insights. I've got two final questions for everyone, and they're really just sort of focused on big picture and the future, world beyond the pandemic. The first one is, how do you see the retail industry evolving broadly as a result of the pandemic? What does retail in the future look like? And then, a little bit shorter term, what does 2021 look like for your business and the retail industry in Australia? Pierre, I'll hand over to you first.
Okay. What I like about, say, Jean is, in a word, was entertainment. And retail, it's also about entertaining. So really, the retail have to keep this entertaining part, just like you go shopping and you are happy to shop, and being fully integrated omnichannel. So really, it's bringing back the consumer into the center of all our experience. So I think, and we are a retailer and we truly believe in retail, and we will still be a retailer and we'll be still opening some stores, and we are opening some store this year in Western Australia. So we're still growing because we believe physical retail is here to stay. How does the business look like in 2021? I wish I already had a crystal ball to say how it will look like for Christmas. So let's say that the first question is how it's going to look like for Christmas. We have great expectation for Christmas. And once we pass Christmas, we can see how it will look like in 2021. But what I really want to take this opportunity is to thank my team. We had just a sales conference. It was, I said to my team, hopefully that's the only virtual sales conference that we do. But they are what we call them the frontline team worker. They are our superheroes that during the pandemic was there in the store, holding the ground, having the smile, because sometimes you have customers that understand, sometimes you have customers that say, no, I don't want to clean my hand, I don't want to wear a mask. So I just want to thank them for the amazing job that they've been doing, and I guess Merry Christmas to all of them and all of you.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Pierre. Emily, what's the future for retail look like post-pandemic, and do you have a crystal ball for 2021?
Yes, tell us.
Oh. I wish I did. I think that 2021 is going to be a year of transition. So we had to take some our truths in 2020, and we had to really change our view. I think in 2021 we will capitalize on all those information to create real seamless experience for customer, but also the customer, like Pierre said, is really going to be coming back to them. What do they really need? What do they really want? And not what brand want to sell them, but what do they really need? And also, like Pierre was saying, for sure, our team member were even more than us. I've been working for 7 months in my house. So I think that the retail team has been really the one that, give us the hope when sometimes we were a little bit down. And I think that, the customer service and the level of service that they've been giving will be supported by, our strategy and by our head office, and making sure that then the customer get the best experience through our store, but also through our online channel. And that is what is going to create, I think, a 2021 successful, and guarantee that our businesses survive in the year coming, for our team member to have safe job, and for our customer to still get the better from us. And we will all rethink we have already started, but we will continue rethink the way and make sure that customers are the art of everything to really bring them the most and what they deserve. They've been giving us their loyalty. They've been, giving us their trust for 70 years at Simon Perel. And I think that, what we want is to make sure we keep their loyalty, and we deserve their loyalty as well.
Wonderful. And final thoughts from you, Jean. What are your hopes for 2021 and how do you think the retail industry will change as a result of COVID-19?
Well, I mean, I think certainly what Emilie and Pierre said is absolutely right. I think we have to be consumer obsessed. Really, it's all about thinking what they want. I mean, consumer expectations really lift to a very high level now. Again, across different things. Not just about the level of service, but again about the safety, about other expectation from an experience point of view, how to buy, how to get your product, etc. So I think that's certainly something we all have to really lift in retail to succeed. Then certainly continue to be very engaged and increase the experience across all the channels, not just in store, but also online and through other partners. And I think that will, that's a strong recipe also to succeed in 2021. Certainly, I think we all wish we had a crystal ball and could predict what's going to happen. I think I'm still very positive because, especially in Australia, there is a huge resilience, and I think consumers are still keen to to shop, to visit retail, to have great experience, to be entertained, to enjoy life, and certainly, again, don't get me wrong, and we know some people are heavily affected, but I think 2021 for me could still be a good year, hopefully, if we also do the right thing from our side as well.
Thank you so much for those insights. And something none of you mentioned, but to everyone listening, I hope everyone's encouraged to prepare for Christmas and buy their loved ones and friends and family some lovely Le Creuset, L'Occitane, Simone Perel goods for their loved ones for Christmas. And I hope everyone is feeling confident that in the lead up to the Christmas season, getting back to retail is safe, and it will be a wonderful experience for people and probably, and for many Victorians especially, something that they've missed while they have spent so much time in their own homes over the last couple of months. And retail precincts really bring people together and is a place for community connection, and we can't forget that either. So thank you all. What a wonderful discussion. I think there's no doubt that retail is the lifeblood of vibrant cities, and we're lucky to have so many vibrant cities across Australia. Retail is such an essential and critical part of those cities. Thank you all very much for your time, insights and expertise. It's been wonderful to have you on the line for this discussion today. As a reminder to our audience, we'll be available for a live Q&A for the next 15 minutes and we look forward to your questions. But otherwise, thank you for joining us today. We hope you have enjoyed the discussion as much as we've loved participating in it. So thank you very much, and we look forward to speaking to you on our live Q&A.